In today's time, marriage seems to be less important than it has been in the past. We tend to just live together or just get divorced if things are not perfect. But this is not God's way for marriage that He intended marriage to be. He intended marriage to be a lifelong relationship with your partner, a man and woman, not man or man, or woman or woman. In a marriage, we have usually two things that happen today. One usually ends up in divorce, or the other one is just we just live together instead. The first main point of this is that God instituted the idea of marriage so that He could promote His will and His moral values. The foundation of marriage was instituted in the first chapter of the Bible in Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, where He states, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." See, we need that spiritual foundation in our life because we have moral values that we need to stand by. There's been times when people in a marriage, they have had affairs on their spouses, and they have and the spouse, husband or wife, either one have had affairs. Well, that is a moral value. To help stop this process, I feel like we should have a spiritual foundation in our life. Me and my wife here, we've been married for over 12 years. We started out praying before we even started dating. We prayed about where we were going to date, what we were going to do, how we were going to do our marriage ceremony, everything. We prayed. And 12 years later, yes, we've had little bumps in the road and all that, but we're happy as we can be. Secondly, God shows His moral value in marriage by showing us that He needs to be the foundation of a marriage, by using the foundational book of Genesis to state the first point. Like I stated, Genesis is a foundation. It is foundation of the world, how it was created. Foundation of how we got to where we are now, where Adam sinned and Eve sinned, and where we are to this point, how we needed Jesus. So Genesis is the foundation, so we should have a great foundation in God to have a great marriage. Secondly, even though there are marriages that do last, there are sometimes divorce, and there are reasons for divorce. In Deuteronomy 22, verse 19, we see that there was a penalty or a fine when a married woman or a married man was unfaithful, which was they had to pay the government 50 to 100 shekels. And then in the New Testament, in Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 and 32, if you had an unfaithful spouse, you gave them a written divorce. We hear on TV now sometimes that we have people that say on their divorce papers, irreconcilable differences. We hardly ever hear the part where it says unfaithful spouses, which is really honestly what it is, more likely. The spouses have been unfaithful. So to stop this progression of this and have more great marriages and more strong, firm marriages in the world today, in America especially, we need to have that great spiritual foundation of God. And as we look at this speech, I'd just like to remind you that we need the spiritual foundation of God in our lives with moral values, and how important it is to take marriage seriously instead of just taking it as something that, well, if it doesn't work out, we'll just get divorced. Thank you.